How do you approach a client who has been referred from a GP but clearly doesn't have interest in seeing a dietitian? Example being them saying something like, I'm not sure why my doctor sent me here, I don't really think you can help. And then they have something like high cholesterol, blood glucose levels.
Yeah, that's all navigation.
How would you start the consult?
Yeah, so I would ask them what I can do for them and what they were hoping to get out of today's session, and try and then just extract some information. I can tell you that I've had more than 50 plus clients, maybe even more than that, over my time, where they've walked in and they're like, oh, I don't really know why I'm here.
That's pretty much private practice.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. Especially in a bulk billing practice. If you're in bulk billing practices, that's a lot. Oh, my doctor just told me to come.
And yeah, if you're in a medical practice, it's easy. Pull up their blood test results and then start showing them and inform them of maybe why they might be here. So it might be cholesterol, it might be blood sugars.
Same time if they got diabetes and they're like, nah, I don't want to treat it.
Yeah, or if they're on any medication, start to show them the links between nutrition and their medication. And obviously advocate for changing their diet to potentially then look to work with the GP to maybe get rid of some of the ones if that's possible as well. And that might be another bargaining point. But yeah, I just try to get to know the person, and as it comes about, they might actually have some things they want to have clarified. Yeah. But it's going to happen. Yeah, like Tyson said, 100% private practice.
A lot of them will be like that, but they rocked up, so you've got them.
Yeah, exactly. If they really did not want to see you, they wouldn't turn up.
Especially in a bulk billing clinic. Did we answer this last week? Like one thing I see a lot in private practice, particularly in bulk billing clinics, is when patients attend appointments because they're essentially getting a free visit through Medicare. No, I don't think we have.
No.
They listen to the education, goals are set, and when they're followed up, it's apparent that they have changed nothing and have had no results. It can be awkward asking what barriers they have faced in achieving goals, brackets, because you don't want to sound condescending, but sometimes appears to be that they are not ready for change. How do you deal with patients like this?
You can answer that one.
We've answered this as well, kind of.
Sort of.
But basically, let's start at the top. So, is when patients attend appointments because they're essentially getting a free visit. 100% go and do that. You do that with everything. Think about anything where you don't want a discount on. When's the last time you ordered a pizza without a discount code? Or like, try to get the Uber Eats discount code. Or anything. Like, everyone wants something free. So, if you can get it for free, people are going to do it, which is why the tech industry is pretty shit at the moment, because it's a race to the bottom. Yeah. We've got bulk billing doctors, but then we've got bulk billing dietitians, and we bulk bill in some of our clinics because you have to. Otherwise, people won't show up because there's someone else down the road. Unless every dietitian decided, no, not bulk billing anymore. But then I don't think any dietitians that really have work, because doctors are just trying to do it themselves like they used to. Anyway, I digress. So when they have a free visit, yep, 100%. They listen to the education. Well, that's a win there if they actually listened. Goals are set, and when they're followed up, it's apparent they've changed nothing. So we talked about it previously, like they're there, they've still rocked up again. So obviously you thinking that they're not ready for change is one thing. It's just like, well, maybe, but it also could be that your intervention was shit.
So what we try and do as dietitians, and we spoke about this so many times, that you give too much. Yeah. Give them simple education and recommendations that you know they can achieve. Like it might be they...
Don't go from 400 gram steak at dinner to 150 gram steak. Don't do that. That won't happen.
Or you set a target around, they can only have a chocolate bar on Friday, for example.
When they're having 2 chocolate bars a day.
Yeah, so if you make it more specific and you don't try and overload them with things, because what happens in bulk billing clinics and certainly on EPCs is you think, oh shit, I've only got 2 or 3 visits, I need to kill it. Whereas if you gave them some targets and they actually made some progress, then you wouldn't feel like you were both bashing your heads up against the wall and they're not getting something for nothing. So I would change your recommendations, make them simpler. And the other option is that you obviously haven't found their click. So potentially you need to think about the ways in which you communicate with that client, motivate that client. I always think that if weight loss is key and they've maintained their weight and they've been gaining weight prior to seeing you, that I would still say that that's actually a win.
Yeah. And if they're thinking more about it, like I know they were shadowing this week with some clients, and one client hadn't really changed much, but he was saying that the dietitian was in his head, in that every time they did seafood, he'd still think about it. So even though he hadn't actually gone and changed something, he'd started thinking every time he looked at a food about what that dietitian had been talking about. So like that's still a win. That's pretty close to actually getting a really meaningful change, because if it's with him every day, then you're going to be sweet. But yeah, this person, I'm going to smash you.
But then you also need to make sure that if you're there with them in their heads every day, that you've given them tools that they can actually make better choices.
Yes.
So, you know, conversations that I've had with clients are like, okay, well, I want to go and have a sweet thing, but then I think that I'm going to have this, I've got to have to go smash down the bike or something like that. So I gave her specific recommendations as to what, when she gets to the counter in the cafe, as to what food she's going to eat. So whether it be a melting moment or a Leamington or a scone, compared to you know, the 3-tiered level chocolate cake that she previously would have had, or the cheesecake.
Slice of cheesecake.
Yeah. So really knuckle down that in reality people are going to want to eat these foods. So if you give, like Tyson said previously, appropriate recommendations, you're going to get success.
And it's a step down process. Like me saying before 400 grams steak to 150 is not going to work, because it's not going to work in the first consult, but it might work after 10.
Yeah, or instead of steak,
don't shoot to
get
a
them
gold.
to have chops, because at least you can count them.
Yeah, if you're a dietitian and you give them a gold standard diet after the first consult, like, well, I hope you never work for me, but like, I don't think you should be a dietitian, to put it bluntly. Like, it's just not, it's not very human and not understanding humans. So you got to be able to adapt to that individual in front of you. So whether it worked for someone else and it's not going to work for that guy, then you change it. Like, don't think that, oh, he's just not doing it. Like, other people do it, so I know it can be done. It's just like, well, why do you have to do the same recommendation? Or change your recommendation, make it easier for that person, for that individual. So this person, I said I was going to smash, because at the end, they kind of hedged the whole excuse again by saying, always try to empower them to make the changes and try to simplify dietary changes, but they still do not comply. Pretty much case in point what we just said. Individualize, change what you're doing.
And compliance is based on the standard that you've created as well, because maybe they actually are complying more than they ever have. Maybe they haven't seen the value in making food change. Maybe it's too hard, you know, all the above, but that's fine. But it's all about how you frame it and your recommendations and your people skills, to be honest.
Yeah, and if they've come back, like, you haven't lost them yet. So try again. The other one was on YouTube on a comment. So they said, how do you go with managing those patients that have a really large appetite and need to lose weight, or don't have normal hunger fullness triggers? First of all, what's a normal hunger fullness trigger? What's normal?
Everyone has different appetites.
Yeah.
Because appetite is the desire for food, hunger is the
I could not
trigger.
eat. Yeah. I could not eat. There are many strategies around this. So I said there's a couple ideas. Be strategic with the type of foods that they're eating, so the size of the meal doesn't actually decrease. So when someone's got a large appetite, it's not necessarily about changing the amount of food that they're eating. It might be just about changing the composition, because ultimately you'll still get weight loss if you change the composition. Change the composition in a positive way to, like, if you're bumping up vegetables, for example, there's a really simple one, and taking out some mashed potato or taking out some of the steak, 50 grams.
Good research around soup before meals. So if you got them on a tomato soup or, a standard low kilojoule soup, not just a cup of soup, but a standard soup around the 500 kilojoule mark, even though it's energy, good research to suggest that the subsequent meal after is significantly reduced.
Which is why your old biddies in the hospital don't gain weight when they're malnourished, because they have the damn soups. But yeah, fluid is the big thing, because fluid fills you up. So one of the strategies that I always use is the big glass of water before and after each meal. Do it 10 minutes before, then actually recognize what's hunger or what's thirst, because as you know, if you're a human being, most of you should know that sometimes you'll feel hungry when you're actually thirsty.
But even just changing textures at meals and having multiple textures, so a squishy food with the crunchy food, things like that, that always helps, I find.
And tougher foods are harder to, you got to chew more and stuff.
Yeah, so take them away from casseroles and curries, get them onto hard-ass, meat and vegetables.
They don't have to chew, they're just...
no rice, no pasta, because it all swallows itself down at 100 miles an hour. So, change the texture.
that's another thing. Yeah. And what else did I say? So I talked about hydration, talked about composition.
Get them to plan snacks. So instead of going, all right, plan it out and ensure that you will give them 2 snacks, but equally quite low, low energy. So probably around that 350 mark for 2 of them, but giving them multiples, it feels like they're getting lots more. So just be smart with your advice, but I find that helps. And make sure that you say you must eat these. You can't go without them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oftentimes, a lot of those people, well, maybe not these exact people, but they come in and they're overweight, but then you give them more food on their, say meal plan than what they used to, and they're like, what the hell, I've got to eat all that food, and I'm still going to lose weight. I'm like, yep. And then they do it and then they lose it. So it's not about someone having a large appetite and they're not, getting no normal hunger fullness cues. It's just around, changing up the diet. That's what we do, isn't it? I don't know.
So I had one question this week from one of the dietitians that I
last one
work with, and it was around supplementation. So you probably would like this. So this dietitian was asking me what supplement I would recommend for someone who was considering complete enteral nutrition to resolve their bowel condition.
What's the bowel condition?
It's like severe Crohn's disease, like 30 bowel actions a day. So what would you suggest in terms of the supplement?
Why?
Because I'm not the clinical dietitian. It's all about supplements, not about fixing the bowel condition.
Yeah, but if it's about supplements and we want pure enteral nutrition, it just depends on the person and what they want. So you can do the enteral feeds, which are flavourless. So you can get them where it's Nutrison, or if it's a 2-cal, or if it's
just a
popper. Yeah, so if it's like those, then you can use pretty much any of them.
Yeah, so it doesn't make a difference.
No, just depending on the person. So if it's flavoured and depending on what type of enteral nutrition, it could mean that they're burping up the flavour, and some people hate that, other people don't mind. Things that are like more acidic flavour, like the orange, like the juices and stuff. Like I don't ever put anyone on the juice because it's not really complete. I'd have them on the dairy, but then with Crohn's, you've got to like watch that. So it's just like so variable when it comes to bowel stuff. So that's why I can't really answer in terms of what's the best one for this person with this severe Crohn's disease and it's enteral nutrition. Like too hard, but enteral nutrition, if you're doing resource, if you're doing 2-cal, if you're doing resource 2, resource protein, resource plus, enteral plus, you've got Fortisip, like anything, and whether it has fibre or not will depend on how that person reacts to it. If they are complete enteral, there's no oral whatsoever, as in they've got severe dysphagia and it's not safe and they're going to aspirate, then yes, then maybe you go with that. But then some people like the flavour of stuff in their mouth, so it's a lot of components when it comes to enteral feeding, especially one that's complicated like that. So I couldn't, and that's medications, interactions, timing, whether you have big meals, whether you do a continuous enteral feed, or if you do a bolus feed. A lot of people that are on long term will want to do bolus, so then they can do stuff around it. Other people want to do a huge overnight and then maybe have 2 or 3 boluses throughout the day. Then again, that'll change based on how much you want to do, whether they can get themselves to the toilet themselves.
Yeah, and Tyson couldn't answer this question.
Well, I'm not giving an actual answer. I'm giving all the variables that I want to know.
Which is good because they're all things. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are all the things that would instantly run through my mind if this, which is what happened. Like I don't know about that question before Peter asked it, so she likes to put me on the spot, but we do to each other. But yeah, like there's so much to take into account, and it's very individual. So you can't just go, yeah, do that. It's just not.
Which is why we're better, always.
Although, having said that, I do love resource protein for malnutrition.
Yeah, I know you do, but this person wasn't malnourished. It was overweight, actually. He's overweight.
Overweight, severe Crohn's, and enterally fed.
Oh, no, not enterally. Considering it as an option.
Why?
Because
but like enteral feed...
30 bowel actions.
But it's like... It's the counter decision because you're just feeding it straight. So is it like a jejunal? Because like you'd go to TPN because the bowels are effed.
Yeah, I know. This is
that ain't gonna fix the bowel.
Yeah.
It's what you're putting in your mouth, mate, or the consistency of it, or the timing, or the amount, or if he's drinking with it, or if he's sipping a sip through a straw and he's getting too much air in. Like, there could be so many.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It's all quite complex, so it's good. But I mean, even in private practice, you'll still see things like this.
Oh yeah, you still see enterals. Yeah, but then you just individualize it. But you got to have all those things in your head, and if you don't, then you need to be around it more. And I really haven't seen that many enteral and nasogastric feeds.
Yeah,
I like them. So
you probably have it really, because eating is.
I have what?
I can imagine you being that guy that wanted to
I could be bothered eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have like an enteral tube. But with the occasional burger coming in.
Save me time. Just hook me up, doc. And then I just get to work, so there's no skip and I have to cook shit. But then there's people that live off that. What's that name of that stuff that one of my clients once wanted to go on?
Like that soy.
Soylent.
Soylent.
Yeah, Soylent. Yeah. I don't want to do that. I don't really no. But I happily, if I'm malnourished and I'm in hospital, I'm asking for resource protein. I am living on that shit because I can't wait for the day you can drink as much flavoured milk as you want without gaining weight. Yeah, cool. I think that's it. So thanks for watching. Remember to ask us questions via email or on YouTube or on Instagram or on Snapchat. We are everywhere. So hit us up. That's what we're here for. See ya.
Bye.